Putin is banking on the United States failing to deliver for Ukraine. We must prove him wrong.
We can send very strong signal of our unity to the aggressor and the unity of Ukraine, America, Europe, the entire free world.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first.
You have a fundamental duty to secure the border of the United States, first and foremost. Do it.
For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here's my answer. I am here.
We're disappointed that he didn't show up. I mean, he was just across the way at the Capitol. You'd think he could have come here and sat for questions.
Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved in my business.
The Biden impeachment investigation isn't a whodunit. It's a what is it?
President Biden must be held accountable for his lies, corruption, and obstruction.
Seinfeld would have called this the impeachment about nothing.
Another busy week in Washington. President Biden faces multiple political crises as we head into the holidays, and there is nobody better to discuss it with than celebrated author and presidential historian Michael Beschloss. His latest work in a bookshelf full of works is Presidents of War. Good to see you, my friend. You know, President Biden, he warned this week that failure to pass additional aid to Ukraine, that it would be a Christmas gift to Putin. But Putin is not just watching our failure to provide aid. He is watching the dysfunction on full display. What does all of this signal to him?
It signals to Putin that the tide may be going in the direction of the Russians and not the Ukrainians, and that maybe Donald Trump will be elected again to a second term, and that if that happens, Ukraine could go down the tube and Putin could be once again arm in arm with Donald Trump, looking at the possibility of dismantling NATO. Remember 2012, Simone, the debate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney said he thought the biggest national security problem in the United States is Russia. He didn't say the Mexican border. He said it was Russia. That's where Republicans were all the way back through the Cold War, the anti-Russia, anti-authoritarianism party. Suddenly, in 2016, Donald Trump ties up the nomination. What was the first thing he asked the Republican convention to do? He said, change your platform so that we no longer support the protection of Ukraine from Soviet aggression, said Trump and his campaign manager, Paul Manafort, who is one of the biggest Russia-Ukraine lobbyists in the United States. That's where this all came from. And you saw the way that Speaker Johnson behaved, not even willing to have a press conference with President Zelensky, suggests that we've got a House Republican majority, barely a majority, that's under the thumb of Donald Trump, an ex-president and a candidate for president once again. We've never seen anything like this in more than 2 centuries of American history.
This week, we also saw an impeachment inquiry formally authorized into President Biden that even lawmakers, including Republicans, admit lacks evidence to back it. Have we ever seen this before? Joe Biden is now the 5th president to face an impeachment inquiry in history.
No, that's exactly right, which goes back, as you know, to Creighton University, I know taught you well. 1868, the impeachment of Andrew Johnson over violating a law that said that he couldn't fire a cabinet officer without asking Congress to do so. Impeachment, even by a president's own party, was taken seriously. If Richard Nixon had not resigned and he had had to go to a Senate trial, he would have been easily impeached by Democrats and Republicans in the House and almost certainly thrown out of office by Republicans in the Senate. Impeachment has always been the biggest sanction that Congress has against a president who breaks the law or otherwise misbehaves. There is nothing that Donald Trump would love more than for impeachment to become so toothless that it's just turned on like a light in the case of Joe Biden, with feelings of revenge for the 2 impeachments of Donald Trump, so that in the future, unlike 1974, when Democrats literally cried when Richard Nixon was impeached, although he was not of their party. You know, impeachment has become something that's now routine. So what other constraints do we have against a lawless president? We don't have many.